Scorsese, DiCaprio, De Niro. Seldom do those names appear on a single movie marquee or tell a story that's quite so dark. Lee Cowan on their epic new film.
On the plains northwest of Tulsa, Oklahoma, where oil rigs outnumber the bison, lies a stain so dark it makes the crude look crystal clear. A tragically true tale of man's inhumanity to man that's hitting the big screen this week.
Oh, I was sent down from Washington, D.C. to see about these murders.
See what about him?
See who's doing it.
Trying to be as truthful as possible is the only way to tell these stories.
This wealth should come to us.
Oscar winners Leonardo DiCaprio, Martin Scorsese, Robert De Niro, and a relative newcomer, Lily Gladstone, teamed up with Apple Original Films to bring David Grann's best-selling book, Killers of the Flower Moon, to life.
It's so simple. The front is the front, the back is the back.
He has to make it look like he done it himself.
It just looks like murder. It's not supposed to be that way.
In this case, it's not who done it, who didn't do it.
Set and action!
It's a sweeping epic, 3.5 hours long, shot on location on the Osage Reservation in Oklahoma, where in 2017 we joined author and journalist David Grann.
We're talking about scores of murders, and we're talking about a very small population.
Killers of the Flower Moon took Grann a decade to research. Each thread he pulled took him down a darker road.
This is a story that has real evil in it. Evil like I've never covered or ever experienced or researched about before in my life.
Really? Was that dark?
Yeah, yes.
The Osage, they have the worst land possible.
That evil showed up when the money did. The Osage land was long thought to be worthless.
But they outsmarted everybody. The land had oil on it.
In the 1920s, oil was discovered here, which almost overnight made the Osage among the wealthiest people per capita in the world.
Money flows freely here now.
I do love that money, sir.
Like a magnet, their newfound prosperity attracted outsiders, white men mostly, who came not just to bilk the Osage out of their oil money, but to inherit it.
The only way you could get their money was to marry into their families and then to slowly target them.
At this Osage cemetery in Greyhorse lies the evidence that entire families were wiped out, either shot, blown up, drugged, or poisoned. Ernest Burkhart wormed his way into the Osage family tree by marrying an Osage woman named Molly back in 1917.
You talk too much.
Their real-life love affair, as troubled as it was, is where the film begins.
What was that?
That's how you are.
I don't know what she said, but it must have been Indian for handsome devil.
The heart of the entire situation you're in, love, the trust that goes with love, and then this extraordinary betrayal, and still loving. Now, how do we do that?
The short answer, carefully.
We did our absolute best to listen to the Osage community. I don't know if we did a perfect job, who knows, but they embraced us and were so incredibly helpful and so vulnerable.
This is an Osage war shield, typical of that time, that era.
Principal Chief of the Osage Nation, Jeffrey M. Standing Bear, knows the risks of letting Hollywood in.
Native Americans have always had someone else tell them the story about us, but we wanted to tell our story.
When we spoke with the cast and crew back in July, they were all on that same page, especially Martin Scorsese.
You deal with Native Americans and indigenous people, you got to make sure everything we do is as authentic, as accurate, or at least is reasonably accurate from what can be remembered as possible.
And respectful.
They were Lucas,
So, to that end, he hired as many Osage as possible, both in front of and behind the camera.
They really worked hard at this and earned our respect.
You felt comfortable with the way they were going to approach it?
If you're not comfortable with Marty Scorsese, you're not going to be comfortable with anybody. I tell you.
Point.
I don't sleep anymore.
DiCaprio's co-star, Lily Gladstone, has critics raving.
I don't even know if you love me anymore.
Molly, of course I love you.
She grew up on the reservation of the Blackfeet Nation in Montana.
She brought so much to not only her character, but to the entire film. She was an amazing partner to have.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
It seems like that's emotional, though, for you to hear.
I mean, I guess I could try to choke it down and put it somewhere else, but why? Yeah. It is. It is. It's a big responsibility and it's terrifying. It's hard being a native actor, having this much that you can audition for. Yeah, Marty showed me what's possible.
The film called for her to speak fluent Osage. DiCaprio and De Niro had to master that language too. The language itself, how hard was that?
It was tough. I mean, he has the benefit of you did an incredible job, and you also did an incredible job of doing it the way a white man would say it.
That's my job.
For Hollywood trivia buffs, this is the first time that DiCaprio has worked with De Niro and Scorsese on the same film at the same time.
The two of them are so incredible together. They're shorthand. The way they communicate, it's almost through sign language. It's nods, it's this, and I know. I mean, it's incredible to watch.
You said that you have sort of a shorthand with Robert De Niro. What do you have with Leo?
A longhand.
Longhand?
With me, it's a long discussions, grinding things, lots of rehearsals.
Expecting a miracle to make all this go away. You know they don't happen anymore.
For David Grann, seeing all of this come together was both satisfying and to him a bit mesmerizing.
My world is not in Hollywood at all. I am a nerd 24 hours a day.
We caught up with him just before the film debuted for the Osage in Tulsa back in July.
The idea that now we're standing here and there is going to be a film and more people are going to learn about the history, to me that is what is so powerful and remarkable about it to me.
Grann ended his book with a conversation he recalled having with an elderly Osage woman. As she looked out across these plains, she quoted scripture. "The blood cries out from the ground," she said. All these years later, perhaps those cries will finally be heard.